This video explains the main operative principles of the Spam Act. The Spam Act regulates the sending of commercial electronic messages and prohibits the sending of those which are unsolicited. The Spam Act applies to email, SMS, MMS, and IM, but does not apply to fax, telemarketing, or internet pop-ups. All businesses, with the exception of government bodies, registered political parties, registered charities, and educational institutions of which a recipient has attended, must comply with the Spam Act. It regulates messages originating in Australia that are sent to any destination, and messages originating overseas which are sent to any address accessed in Australia. The Spam Act is enforced by the ACMA. Contravening the Spam Act results in heavy pecuniary penalties, ranging from $220,000 for a single breach to $1.1 million for repeated breaches. In order to comply with the Spam Act, businesses must ensure their electronic messages do three things. Firstly, businesses must obtain the consent of the recipient before the message is sent. Secondly, businesses must identify themselves in the message. And lastly, an unsubscribe function must be present in the message. The first thing a business sending a commercial electronic message must do in order to comply with the Spam Act is obtain the consent of the recipient before the message is sent. This can be done through either express or inferred means. Express consent is given through a direct indication, for example, by filling in a form. Inferred consent is given where the sender and recipient have a business or other relationship. For example, if you subscribe to a newspaper or are a member of a club, it could be reasonably inferred that you consent to receiving messages from these bodies about their services. Additionally, consent may be inferred if you knowingly publish a work-related electronic address, for example, in a work brochure. In this case, a business may send a commercial message that directly relates to your line of work. The second thing a business sending a commercial electronic message must do in order to comply with the Spam Act is identify themselves clearly and accurately in the message. Details showing how the sender can be contacted must also be included. The identification details should be reasonably likely to be accurate for a 30-day period after the message is sent. The third thing a business sending a commercial electronic message must do in order to comply with the Spam Act is ensure an unsubscribe function is present in their message. This function must allow the recipient to opt out of receiving messages from a business in the future. It can take several forms provided it is reliable. For instance, it may be automated, or it could be simply a line in the sender's message stating that to unsubscribe, reply to this message using the subject line unsubscribe. After a recipient indicates they wish to unsubscribe, the sender must stop sending messages within 5 working days. The facility must be reasonably likely to remain accurate and functional for a 30-day period after the commercial message is sent. Therefore, to conclude, the main operative principles of the Spam Act are firstly, businesses must obtain the consent of the recipient prior to messaging. Secondly, businesses must identify themselves within the message. And lastly, the message must contain an unsubscribe function. Thanks for listening.